What's going on, guys? Welcome to W.D.Y.D. CSP. W.D.Y.D. What do you do? Sterile Processing Technician, Central Sterile Processing. That's what CSP stands for. So, what do you do? That's what this channel will answer for many of you guys that wind up telling people that you are a certified sterile processing technician. Keyword certified. Again, we will go into that later, but right now this isn't about all that. This is about me. How did I get into this field, guys? In a nutshell, it was midlife crisis. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. I got into this field after working so many years as a laborer and a manager in the food industry. I worked that for about 20 years of my life. Things didn't go as planned. Things went south. I ran into my ego many times. And it kind of made me bump heads with the big wigs when they came in brand new, tried to change things that I knew were going to fail. Long story short, I decided to take a whole different career path. Went to school to become a surgical tech because I wanted to work with my hands. Because honestly, I went to become a mechanic because I just had started learning how to work on cars. And I went into the technical school there, and the price of the technical school was so outrageous. And honestly, it could have went either way, because when I went for surgical tech, the price was just as crazy. Actually, it was more. I spent a year and a half in school to become a surgical tech, worked in the field for about 5 years. I have a high frequency hearing loss at a small center. It was the greatest job in the world. The surgeons were cool, the technicians, the nurses, we were like a little family there. I wind up working that and working in the sterile processing department at the same time, because I volunteered at the hospital that was teaching the class to become the surgical techs, or affiliated hospital. So the instructors that were teaching the surgical tech program was affiliated with this big hospital. They gave us the opportunity to volunteer in the department for 2 weeks in the sterile processing department to get our feel and our hands-on experience with instrumentation and assembly with sets. I enjoyed that so much that I went to the instructor that ran the department, the manager of the department, and I asked him, hey, you know something, we're only here for 2 weeks, but do you mind if I volunteer once a week, every week, for as long as I possibly can, because I want to learn all these instruments? And he was like, free help, you're in. So every Friday night, I worked the second shift there while I was working first shift as a, while I was going to school in the morning time. Upon graduation, I was still volunteering at this hospital, but now I had already got interviewed to get a job, because the manager was so impressed by my learning and how fast I learned. I wound up learning endo. I did sterile processing, prep and pack. I had decon mastered. So he was like, yo, you're good. We want you. So, and at the time I was like, look, I want to become a surgical tech, but hey, I'm not going to deny the opportunity. When I graduated school, it took me a little bit to get hired at this hospital as a sterile processing tech, but I wound up landing a job as a surgical tech at this small surgery center. Loved it. High pace, great job, great atmosphere, great family, like I said. But I tried my luck at a bigger hospital, and it just didn't work out for me because I have a high frequency hearing loss. Different doctors do the procedures differently, and I just couldn't adjust. There's no time for you to ask the doctor, what was that you wanted again? Did you ask for this? Or you're handing them the wrong instrument. Now the doctor's frustrated, the patient's on the table for a longer period of time. I had to humble myself. So I stopped doing that. The schedule from my first gig as a surgical tech and working as a sterile processing tech on a second shift kind of conflicted. Actually, I was working third shift as a sterile processing tech. And then I would get off at 8:30. The next gig started at 9. I wasn't able to make it there on time all the time, even though the manager of the surgery center agreed and said, oh, don't worry about it. It's just a couple minutes late. Long story short, new management jumped on board. They didn't like the latenesses, the occurrences. I understood. I didn't understand, but I understood at the time. I let that job go and focused more on sterile processing. At that time, I was not a certified technician. I was a certified a surgical tech, but I wasn't a certified sterile processing tech because this state did not require certification for sterile processing techs until a new manager came on board and pretty much encouraged us to become certified. He pushed education a lot and pushed us to become, no, he didn't push us, but he encouraged us to become sterile processing techs. Wasn't mandatory, but it was very much encouraged. It wasn't until a fellow co-worker of mine was like, hey, you know something? Pursue it. It's just another certification under your belt, makes it look better. Long story short, I took that and went running. I got there, I got Ischium CRCST, then I went for the CIS, and then I met another technician in there that had what was called the Triple Crown at the time, and I was like, Triple Crown, what's that? And he explained it to me, and I said, I want that too. So I got that. The new CER certification was introduced with Ischium. I wound up getting that too. They also have a vendor's certification, which is the CCVSP. I tried to go for that, but I couldn't get it. Ischium said, nah, you got to work in the field, buddy. Sorry, can't give you that opportunity. So I tried to go for the Golden Crown plus some. So I was like, darn, that's it. Okay, where can I go from here? So I've turned my focus to the CBSPD, which is the other certifying agency aside from Ischium. And within a year's time, I wound up getting all 4 of their certifications as well. I couldn't get their 5th because for their leadership member certification, you need a sign off from Human Resources, and I do not have a leadership role as of yet. But 10 years in this field, basically what I did was asked a lot of questions. Every time my preceptor gave me assignment, they seen that I already had the knowledge, I already had the ambition and passion with what I was doing. I learned very quickly because I volunteered for a year. I already had the skill set under my belt. So I moved along with all the different disciplines within sterile processing. Sterilization, decontam was already under my belt, prep and pack, and on third shift we do what's called the biological runs, which is basically testing all the equipment prior to usage, the IUSS machines with the W.D.Y.Ds and the PCD packs, the machinery downstairs. If we do the high-level disinfection, doing the daily test to make sure that the concentration of the high-level disinfection is okay to use and be able to process the instrumentation in there, even though you're supposed to check it, and you're not even though you are supposed to check it before you process any item in there. So I just flew through the disciplines. I basically tried to master everything that was in, and as I became more in depth with my certifications, I dwelled into the AMI standards, I dwelled into the AORN standards, I looked into Cigna, I seen that they had a little certifying program. I wound up getting their GTS certification there, which is the GI Technical Specialist certification. I have that under my belt. So 10 certifications under the belt as of right now. That's how I got into this field. It was just basically something that grabbed my attention. It's ever changing. Things are always on the go. Some days are lighter than others, and I work at a hospital that's high paced. We work the main hospital and the surgery center, so anywhere up to 160 cases between the 2 facilities. If you're working at the main hospital, anywhere between 80 to 110 cases a day with 500 patient beds. Well-known hospital in the Pennsylvania area. It's just That's where I got all my knowledge from, as well as dwelling into the books, listening to podcasts and different um, publications that are out there. I just went in. I went in on it. So that's all I can say, keeping it real with that. But W.D.Y.D, what do you do? No matter where you're at, no matter who you speak to, if they don't know anything about this field, that's the first question that they're going to ask you. You're a sterile processing technician. Okay, what do you do? The purpose of this channel and why I'm creating it is basically to teach the old and new, those that already have the knowledge base and those that are just getting into this field or wishing to get into this field. I want to teach you guys why you do what you do. Okay? Just don't do it. A lot of times I see technicians do things, and when I go and ask them the questions, hey, you know something, you're doing that like that. Why you do that like that? Well, I don't know. That's because that's how they taught me. Wrong answer. I want to teach technicians to do what they do, but why you do what you do, the purpose behind it. Yes, it's all about patient safety. Yes, it's because we're certified technicians. Yes, it's because it's our job and our career. But why do you truly do what you do? That is the purpose of this channel. That is the purpose of my education. That's the purpose that I got all the education that I got, is to show you guys, teach you guys, explain to you guys why you do what you do. That is the most important factor. That's what's going to set you above the rest. That's what's going to distinguish you as the best, and that's what's going to make me a subject matter expert in the future, because I know why I do what I do. So I'm going to teach you why you do what you do. W.D.Y.D, what do you do and how do you do it? That's my purpose and my gift to you guys. Guys, hit that notification bell. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Comment down below. Subscribe to my channel. As always, stay true to yourselves. Keep it 100. Peace, guys.